The Real Talk Sports Show is coming up right now. Welcome, everyone, to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host and minister, Jonathan Simmons, and we thank God for those of you who have jumped in here to join us here on various platforms, including YouTube Live, Facebook. We're also on Twitch TV, and for those of you speaking of TV, watching us on the big screen, you go to Roku, go on to the Tiki Live Network, put in our man, Phoenix Entertainment Group, that is owned by Gary Booker, and you can see us on big screen as well. Remember, follow us anywhere on social media at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. You also can check us out on YouTube. Remember, go to the page, subscribe, and bing, hit that bell so you'll get notifications when we are on the air. Speaking of on the air, you know we like to bring one of the most beautiful women in sports talk, radio, or TV. We simply call her the Queen. Tree Dolman is back in the building. Tree, welcome back.
Hello. Hi, Jonathan. Hi, everybody. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving.
Hope you have one too.
I did.
Now, what did you happen to dine on for your Thanksgiving meal, ma'am?
Mm.
We have a long
Turkey,
list.
macaroni and cheese, a lot of banana pudding. It was a lot of food. It was greens. It was very delish. What did you
Just
have?
want I need that song. I need that greens, potatoes. We need all of that because we had all of that.
Yes.
That song fits the bill. I mean, I did the same thing. My daughter cooked as if we were having an army of people here. So I got the full complement, same thing, greens, macaroni and cheese, the whole bit. We had it all, turkey. She even had a beef roast, a little small one. So yeah, we got down, definitely. And Sparkle, what's up, Sparkle? I see you peeking behind. There she is.
She said hello.
Hello on YouTube. Our man Colton Goodwin says, "Hey, Colton, what's
Hey.
up, sir? Thank you for joining us here on the Real Talk Sports Show." Was always another big weekend when you come into this time of year. You got college football, you got high school football, you got pro football, you got basketball. We just had the big tournament here at State Farm Arena, where I think they brought in Kentucky and UCLA. So it has been must see TV anywhere around. So a lot of good stuff going on. But let's start off with the Atlanta Hawks. I don't know if you've been following Tree, but the Hawks have been an offensive juggernaut so far this season, putting up a lot of points. What do you think the key is for them to kind of have this resurgence? When now they're like one of the best scoring teams in the league.
I don't know, but I think it's a resurgent. But I mean, they're a good scoring team. I don't think offense has been the problem. I think the problem has been defense.
Yeah, yeah, because unfortunately, as much as they score, they give up a lot of points. We've seen them give up in recent games 145 points and a stunning. I thought the game was in overtime, 157 points in 4 quarters, including a 46-point third quarter. But like I said, they are scoring at a phenomenal rate. They are second in the league in scoring, I believe, to the Indiana Pacers. So yeah, kudos to them to getting the scoring up. But defensively, you know what the funny thing is? Defensively, the biggest problem I believe they're having is they really are getting having a lot of trouble in the paint with stopping offensive rebounds. That's like a huge problem. I mean, I know all the Hawks brass have said, "Hey, we got enough size. We don't need more." But I don't know. I just think they need some more beef down there, down low.
Hey, you can never have too much of it. It always helps.
And certainly, you know, because you were big. I mean, so how? I mean, people. I don't think people really understand how important it is to have bigs that can really play, but especially defensively and rebounding.
I mean, that was my only focus playing basketball was defense and rebounds. That was my focus. I wasn't thinking about, oh, how many points can I score? I want to score. My job when I went out there, and this was just my personal goal. It wasn't a goal that my coach set for me. It was a goal that I set for myself. But I just did not want my player to score at all. If you were the person that my coach told me I was checking, I wanted you to have 0 points and 0 rebounds when the game was over. So that was my goal, was stopping them.
Wow. Well, I mean, let's put. I mean, the bottom line is that is the key, and I think again for the Hawks defense, that's one of the problems they're running into. They just don't have the type of personnel that you need, like I said, size wise, to really make an impact. Like I said, they're getting out. The other day, I think they were out rebounded by 15 or 16, and most of that was because of offensive rebounds. And no matter how good of a defense that you play, you know, out there on the court, if you can't stop team from getting second and third shots, that's a problem. Because if you go to the stats here, look at the Hawks, they've actually improved in some areas of defense. They are amongst the league's best teams in terms of deflections. Your Hawks are right up there, and I think they're in the top three overall in deflections. They're stunningly number three in the league in steals per game. So it's not like they are slouched defensively. It's just that they're giving up too many second chance points. And of course, as you know, Tree, most of those points are down the paint, which are your easy scoring points. So yeah, they're
Yeah,
going to
when
have
you
to.
look at, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
When you look at rebounding, a lot of times you'll see that rebounding really is key in games because, as you were stating, when people get a lot of offensive rebounds, it's just an easy putback or an easy toss out, and it's a shot that's being made. That's another basket. So if you can get a lot of defensive rebounds, you stop the other team from scoring and getting multiple chances, and you get that definitely lessens their second and third chance options. And then if you can also get a lot of offensive rebounds, then you can be the team that just puts it back up. And then that just equates to just so many more points. So I think that rebounding is a huge part of the game. And I think it's a part of the game that too many people don't really focus on.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, all your great teams over the years, they always had outstanding balance, especially in rebounding, and you need that. And really, crazy enough, if the Hawks could find a way to rebound even better on the defensive boards, which they've done pretty good, this team would score even more points a game because they'd be able to get on the fast break. Well, speaking of points a game, right now the Hawks are have a 1 point advantage against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Both teams have similar records. Hawks at 500, 8-8. Cleveland at 9-8. And at the end of the first quarter, our score Hawks 33 and Cleveland 32 on the road. So Hawks trying to um, get in there and grab a victory from Cleveland, a team I'm sure they're going to be battling for a playoff spot down in the rest of the season. So look for the Hawks to do that. The other thing, I got a big shout out to the fan base. Fans have been coming out. Almost every game is a sellout again this year. A lot of energy, a lot of excitement, and it does appear, Tree, that Trae Young has regained his shooting touch. In the last couple of games, he has put up some monster numbers. He had a 43-point game. I think he had a 45-point game. So it looks like he's starting to kind of come back as far as his ability to score points in bunches.
I never thought he lost his ability to score, but okay.
Well, what I mean by that is that, I mean, like, if you look at his measurables, his shooting percentage have been down,
I remember
over
you. I
the last
remember
couple of years. So.
I remember the conversation we had, but if you also remember, I was the one defending him, but I don't know. So yes, but he is scoring a lot more points, and yes, so I think that's a good thing.
And one of the problems you have with that, not problems, but one of the things that has been interesting is as Trey's scoring has gone up, which you would expect because he's your backcourt mate. But for some reason, DeJounte Murray has gotten a little cold lately. I'm not sure what
Yeah.
his situation is. He is having a good game tonight, 8 points in the first quarter. But yeah, last couple of games, his shooting percentage has been not so good. So hopefully we can get both of them to do what they did in this first quarter. Trey's got 6 points. DeJounte's got 8 points. Clint Capella's got 8 points already in the first period. DeAndre Hunter, another guy who's been scoring much better lately, he's got 4 points. Bogey, he is certainly a candidate for sixth man of the year. He has 5 points in the first quarter, and he's been balling out these last couple of games, especially from three and hitting big shots. So yeah, the Hawks right now, if they can just find a way to be a little bit better on those offensive rebounds, hey, this is a team that really could make some noise, I think, late in the season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they will do.
So how about your Detroit Pistons? How are they looking? I haven't had a chance to peek in. Uh-oh, I said
Okay,
something bad.
so let's talk about it.
Right.
My Detroit Pistons have the worst record in the NBA. We are the worst team right now in the NBA. We have set or tied one of our other records that I think we've lost 10 games in a row or 17 in a row. It's bad. And it's sad because the Pistons, it's not like we're getting blown out. We're fighting, but we just, unfortunately, I think we're on a 7 game losing streak right now. And it is the most in the NBA, and it's not good. So we are definitely right now the worst team in the NBA. But as you know me, and everybody knows me, I am a true fan, and I love my Detroit Pistons. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Piston fan, but we really do have a good team. We have a very young team, and I think we just need a couple more pieces. We have an excellent coach, and I know that things are definitely going to be on the up and up, but right now it's not looking good for Coach Williams. But we all know that he has a lot of work to do and a very young team. So we'll see. But I have high hopes, and I do not think that we will finish as the worst team in the NBA. But right now, that's just how the cookie is crumbling for my Detroit Pistons.
Well, interesting enough, let's take a look at their stats here. So I pulled them up. So right now, yes, they are 2-15, but interestingly, they are in the top 10 in the league in both rebounds per game at number 7, 40, almost 46 rebounds a game, and they are in the top 10 in assists per game, almost 27 assists per game. So those two things, at least they're trending well in that arena. And you can kind of build around it. Those are good foundations, being able to pass the ball well and to be able to rebound. So, fortunately for you guys, it's like, okay, we at least have something to build on, something that if we can add a couple of key players, you might be good to go. So, yeah,
Oh, definitely. Yeah. We have a great team. 2 years ago, I felt like the Detroit Pistons got the best draft out of all the teams in the NBA. And unfortunately, Cade Cunningham got injured right after, so he was out mostly all of last season, which really hurt us. And he's back, and then we have some more key pieces from our draft this year. And like I said, we have excellent players. I love our players. We just have a very young team, and we just need a couple more pieces. But I know that the way that we're starting right now, because it's not that we're not playing hard, we play. We just haven't been getting the W's. But I know that we're not going to finish the season the way that we're starting. And it's not how you start, it's how you finish anyway. We all know that in sports. And we have, in my opinion, one of the best coaches in the NBA. And I know that there's definitely going to be a turnaround.
we'll take a look at some of the stats. Obviously, you mentioned the young man who is really the focal point of the team, Kate Cunningham. 22 points a game this year, 22.3 points a game. He's also averaging 7.1 assists and averaging almost 4 rebounds a game. So really, he is kind of the one man gang right now. Kind of picking him up, Alec Burks. He's averaging about 12 points a game, and Jaden Ivey 12.7, and Jalen Duran 12.6, and the rookie, they're one of their top five draft pick, Oscar Thompson, who played right here in Atlanta. Not too bad for a rookie, 11.4 points a game. So yeah, you got some youth, you got some potential. And if they could add maybe one or two, key players in the mix, yeah, you guys might be able to do some work, in
Oh
the
yeah.
upcoming seasons.
Yeah, I think so. And I think we'll definitely make some moves during the trade deadline. And I think that that'll definitely help some things. We definitely need some veterans on the team. We need that veteran leadership. And then we just need some more key pieces. And I know that my Detroit Pistons, what we're gunning for, what we're looking for, we want more championships. So we're not just looking to be a good team in the NBA. We're not just looking to make the playoffs. We're looking to win championships. And Detroit, they're showing that in the moves that they're making. Again, we have the highest paid coach in the NBA, and we did that for a reason. And we're going out getting excellent talent. And like I said, I definitely feel that there will be some key moves made during the trade time, and we'll see. So I'm not losing hope on my Pistons. It just hurts right now, but like I say, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
No doubt. Yeah. So keep your eye around on the Pistons, see what they do. Like I said, also keep a look at the Hawks. I think that they are trending up and they have the potential to make some noise again here in the East. They play Boston fairly well, but again, the big difference was Boston out rebounded them by double digits. So if the Hawks can kind of get that under control, this Hawk team might be able to make some noise. If we're going to make some noise, we have to let our sponsors and the folks that support us make a little noise. Keep it locked right here, the Real Talk Sports Show. We will be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. My magic brand, my fingers are going wild here. Here we go. Let's get out of that. Okay, we'll get it back together, guys. All right, keep it locked right here for more of the Real Talk Sports Show. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. Thank you, and thank you. Stay tuned. We'll get there somewhere. Dun, 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 dun. All my video clips. Oh, they disappeared. There they are. Dun, dun, dun. We have to hit the magic button, Mr. Producer. And there we go.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm Aria, the first AI presenter for Real Talk.
Coming up next, it's the Real Talk Sports Show, bringing you great sports talk with perspective. Now, here's our host, Jonathan Simmons.
All right, guys, we're back here. This is the Real Talk Sports Show. Yep, that's me. I'm your host, Minister Jonathan Simmons. But right next to me is the Queen. Miss Tree Dolman is back in the building. And even though she says, hey, we are Detroit Pistons not doing too well, if we stay in the state of Michigan, we do have a team that's doing very well. That's called the guys that wear the maize and blue, the Michigan Wolverines. We don't care if we ain't got our coach. We don't care nothing about that. We're going to keep on rolling. Big shout out to the coaching staff for the Wolverines as they had played, I would think, giving kudos to both teams, one of the best college football games of the year, a knockdown, drag out.
Of the year.
Game.
The game.
It is. Final score, the Michigan Wolverines 30, the Ohio State Buckeyes 24. Yeah, definitely epic game. One that you had to keep it locked on to. Both, it looked like a heavyweight fight. Both teams going back and forth at one another. But at the end, it was the Wolverines that pulled it off. And because of that, let's flash up on the screen. Here are your latest college football rankings. Number 4, the Florida State Seminoles continue to hold it down and making the big jump from 5 to 3, leapfrogging the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Florida State Seminoles. Number 3, the undefeated Washington Huskies. Number 2, back where they belong, the Michigan Wolverines. And of course, number one, the team I got a chance to look at up close and personal, the Georgia Bulldogs, the two-time defending national champions. So yeah, Michigan is right back up there at number two. Obviously, if they can finish out the season by winning the Big Ten championship, the Maize and Blue will be back in business and looking for, as y'all said last year, looking for all that smoke.
We want all the smoke. Where's Sully? Where's Todd? Where's HC Hardy? I'm just saying, where y'all at? I just want to know, where are y'all at? Y'all were just talking so much. I just come on. Like, where y'all at?
She says she wants that smoke, baby.
I'm just saying.
She wants that smoke.
I'm just saying.
Yep.
So the job isn't finished. We can't cut out Iowa, right?
Right.
Any given Saturday in college. And so we still have another job to do. The great thing is that we have our coach back on our sideline. I think that had we had him on the sideline when we played Ohio State, the score would have been much larger in between. The deficit would have been much larger. But we got through it, and now we are back to our full team. And like I said before, Michigan will be the national champions this year. So I've said it all season. People keep looking at me like I'm crazy. People keep saying, oh, it's not happening. You mark my words. The Michigan Wolverines will be the national champions this year. And I can't wait. I'm so excited. And Jonathan, did you hear what Ohio State did on their campus before the game?
No.
You didn't hear? Okay. So Ohio State hates Michigan so much, which I think is funny that they actually took so much time and energy thinking about us. But they went and they put red tape, put a red X on every M around campus. So on the street sign that said Michigan, they put an X over the M. Like literally, look it up. They literally put red X's over every M on campus and all around campus, right? So that was what they did. And now I have to pull up this tweet because I just love Michigan, and whoever is handling their social media, I just love them even more, because after we won the game, Michigan tweeted, "It's okay," and they added Ohio State football and give you the L.
That's called some shade being thrown. Shots fired. Well, look, I mean, that's how you do it.
That was genius. Yeah,
it was. Wait till you win. You do all your talking after you win the game. Exactly. Anybody can talk that junk beforehand, but they left it. And listen, like you said again, it really was an epic game. I don't know if I know, like I said, you flexing. You talking about, hey, if Harbaugh was, they might have blown him out. But at the end of the day, it really was a good game. Well, you said that I guess that it would be a little bit larger,
correct,
larger winning margin. But yeah, at the end of the day, it was really one of the best games, if not the best game in college football this year. And what you expect when you have a number 2 versus a number 3, that's the kind of game you expect. And certainly next year, a lot of people who are going to be on the outside looking in this year, next year will be there as they expand the playoffs to 12 games. Me personally, I thought the expansion has really only been to 8, but they're going with 12, giving the first 4 teams a bye. I've never been a big fan of those bye weeks, especially in college football, because it's very easy because it's in the middle of a kind of quasi holiday period. So you got guys coming off of Christmas and New Year's. I just like to take the best 8 teams. What do you want to call it? I guess
what does that have to do with anything?
Say again?
What does Christmas or New Year's have to do with anything?
No, I just think that I guess what it is that I know the guys concentrate and so forth and so on, but I just think that you already have that gap in the bowl season already. And I'm like, hey, why do you want to give like another bye? Unless now maybe they're going to schedule differently. Maybe they're going to have teams playing, right through and straight through. It is not going to be the same kind of gap that you have right now between, the end of the playoffs. I mean, your what you call your conference championships, and then the actual, college football playoffs. So maybe all that kind of dead time in between them, we playing games. But I just don't like the idea of a team having a bye. I just think they all should kind of come in and, hey, here we go. But that's just me talking.
I agree. I'm not a big fan of the breaks, only because a lot of teams lose their momentum. When you have that
Exactly.
momentum going and you've picked up the steam, and then it's like, okay, then you get out of that. There's a different preparation when you have a game that's coming up and in the week and different things. And when you have one that's in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it changes your preparation. It just changes things. And so I'm not
Exactly.
a fan of it just because of that, because a lot of times when teams do have a bye, you'll see a phenomenal team that plays really great. And then the first game back, it takes them like the first half to even get into their rhythm. And you can see that they're just trying to get back into their playing, because it's different when you're practicing, when you're actually out on the field tackling people full speed and playing football. So because of that, I'm not a fan of it. But I do understand from maybe their standpoint that maybe it gives teams time to heal, because we know in the sport a lot of players are injured towards the end of the season. So I don't know if they're looking at it from that standpoint. But as you stated, I'm also not really a fan of the bye. But I was just wondering with you, because you brought up Christmas and New Year's, and that's what I was like, okay, but what does that have to do with the bye? So that's why I was confused and looking like that when you said it. But yes, I agree. I'm not a fan of the bye either.
Yeah, I just think it's too much, time off, and what you get a lot of times. That's why sometimes you get some bad games because guys come out, they're rusty, they're not sharp, and it's very very easy to, when you're playing another good team, fall behind early. And like I said, I just don't like the. I think you lose intensity. I like them. Hey man,
Oh yeah.
everybody gets the same amount of time off. If you're gonna say, okay, we're gonna take a break, everybody gets 2 weeks. Or everybody gets a week. Not, hey, we're gonna take a week and then we have to wait another week for these other guys to play. I'm not a big fan of that.
But they
Well,
don't give
speaking,
them time off.
say again.
Even though they don't have games, the players don't get to go
Oh no,
home.
but what I mean. I just, like you said, it's different when you're in practice versus when you're actually playing
Right.
against another team, and especially a lot of times you already have all this momentum and energy coming off a conference title or something like that. Yeah, that's just me. I guess that's the
Yeah.
old school in me
Yeah.
talking about that. Well, speaking of the college football playoffs, the number one team, I got a chance to finally see them in person for the first time in 3 years. I went to see them
Okay.
play a rare Saturday night game in the flats. Really, I don't know. I mean, I haven't really been to some of the bigger stadiums. I have gone to Athens, like 90,000 people, and it just looks ginormous when you get there. But I got to tell you, there's
Right.
nothing better than going to a game at Georgia Tech at night, because just seeing the backdrop of the Atlanta skyline
Very
at night, it
pretty.
just really is it's a great look. And the Georgia Tech's credit, uh, they played extremely well. Now I understand Georgia had, a couple of key players out. They had probably one of the best players in college football. Their tight end Brock Bowers was not there, so I get it. One of their key receivers was not there as well. But Georgia Tech, they came out swinging. They jumped onto an early lead. They kept it close at the half, but finally succumbed to the bludgeoning of the Georgia running attack, led by Kendall Milton, 18 carries, 156 yards on the ground, as Georgia just hammered away 262 rushing yards in that game. And Georgia also averaged over 7 yards per play. So Bulldogs flexed without their big guns, and they took off on their what used to be most hated rivals. Matter of fact, the tagline for that game is "Good old fashioned hate." So Georgia Tech went at it. But like I said, for the Tech fans, it was rocking. It was loud. Everybody around the weekend was celebrating the 50th anniversary of hip hop. So you had some hip hop stars there. And it was just, I had not been to a Georgia Tech game that had that much energy in a while. Yeah, Georgia Tech fans, you had a lot of Georgia fans there, but Georgia Tech fans showed up and showed out. And hopefully, I'm hoping
Sure.
this is the beginning of a new era for Georgia Tech.
It would
They've
be
been a little,
nice.
Yeah, I mean, how can you have a rivalry when one of your rivals is not so good?
Yeah, it's not a rival. It's not a rivalry at this point. In order for it to be a rivalry, it needs to be like Michigan, Ohio State, where you have two top teams. And honestly, that's why Michigan, Ohio State is the largest and biggest rivalry in sports. And it has been for many years, is because you have two really good teams. And the team with the most wins and the team with the second most wins in college history. So it does make a difference. And speaking of stadiums that are huge, I really hope that you get the opportunity to go to Ann Arbor, Michigan, and go to a game in the Big House. It's nothing like it. I can send you some of the pictures of the stadium when we played Ohio State and how the stadium is actually every game, because our fans are just amazing there. But going to a game in the Big House, there is nothing like it. There really is nothing like it. It's quite amazing. So I hope you get to experience that one day.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, just the sheer size of the stadium. I think it seats 100,000 people, or pretty close to that. The Big House.
Over, yes.
Oh yes, I mean, just being there that many people's got to be incredible. Like I said, the closest thing I've ever come to it is going up to Athens. They had just renovated and added, I think, another partial deck. So the game I went, it was ironically against Georgia Tech. It I think was 91,000 people, and it just when I remember
Did
going there,
you
that looked crazy.
did you ever go? Have you ever been to UT Knoxville?
No, I heard the same thing. I heard Neyland Stadium is insane. Yep.
Well, yeah, because the funny thing is that UT built on to add more seats to their stadium because they thought they were going to outseat Michigan and become the Big House, right? But nobody is going to outbuild Michigan. And so they call themselves the Big House of the South because we're the Big House, and we can, like, our stadium is underground, so we can keep building and just keep building. So anyway, but yeah, so that's what UT Knoxville did. So they added theirs to make theirs the Big House of the South, and that's what they call it. But there's only one Big House, and that's the blue and maize.
Well, I think you done spoke up, Sullivan. He says shucky ducky.
Okay, Sullivan, I was looking for you. I was wondering where you were. I was wondering where you were.
He's like, tree. Well, Sully is back. And guys, you gotta come on back, because we're gonna take another little break. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a minute. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in just a little bit. Hang tight.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
We're back here with the Real Talk Sports Show. Many thanks and shout outs to those guys. We filmed that. I can't believe it's been 5 years now. That was done at the national championship game when Georgia played Alabama for the national title. And ESPN had something called the Blue Room. And we were out there in record cold temperatures. It was 9 degrees when we were filming those clips you saw there. 9 degrees.
That was when what? Who played? Alabama played Georgia?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
For the national championship?
Yeah, right here in the dome. That's when Yep.
That was
The
the
quarterback,
Mercedes-Benz Arena.
Mercedes-Benz. That's correct.
Yes,
Yep.
I
And
was
it was,
there as well. It
there you
was
go.
very cold
Well,
outside. My hubby and I
very
went,
cold. And we were out there because they did the blue carpet and they thought it would be a good idea to do it outside the venue.
which I don't know why they
Uh,
thought that.
they had the heat lamps out there, but I mean, and I had my Connecticut big boy Parker. Didn't matter. That 9 degrees, it was cold outside. Let's go to social media here.
When it's cold
Let's see here.
outside. He said, my shucky ducky brother, Jonathan.
What's up, Sully? You said here, I moved the location of my job. Okay.
Okay. So I moved locations on my job.
Yep, you
Tree.
said
UGA is the house of the South. You know what's funny? UGA is the house of the South. I don't know what that means. I said the big house, meaning they have the second largest stadium. So UGA built on top to build more than UT. So I didn't hear that one. So if Georgia seats more people, I'm in Village Burger, Johns Creek. Wait a minute.
wait a minute. He's in your backyard now. Wait
I
a
know.
minute.
Village Burger, Johns Creek.
Yep, he's right in the spot now. He's in the middle of it, right there. Right there. He is there. He said, yep, that's where he's at. Well, Sully, we appreciate you, man. Well, now you're even closer. So now we didn't have any excuse before, but now we really have no excuse to go out there and check him out. Johns Creek. Certainly for me, that's a little bit closer
The
than
one on
Cummings.
Old Alabama Road.
Let's see what he says here. He says it's on. Yeah, so yeah, just let us know where you're located in Johns Creek so we can, find our way there. But it sounds like it's going to be a great situation out there, and again, much closer to all of us than before. All right, guys, we have myself and the Queen, but we also have a legend. He is two-time Super Bowl champion. He is a National Black College Alumni Hall of Famer. He's the first ever Carolina Panthers defensive draft selection, and he's number 38, but number 1 in our hearts. Mr. Tyrone Poole is back in the building. What's going on, sir?
How we doing, everybody? Hope everybody doing well. Hello, Miss Tree and Jonathan and everybody watching and listening. Hope everybody's well.
Hey,
I think
Tyrone.
everybody's doing good, Tyrone.
I like your sweatshirt. Work that thing.
Yeah.
Let me get a close-up of that. Let's get a close-up. There we go.
It's a brand. So we steady moving. It's amazing how things start out as just an idea. And this is for anybody real quick. Greatness is in you. Greatness is in you. Everything that you will be in the future is already in you. You're not waiting for nobody to come and bring it to you. You're not waiting for until you purchase something or go to some place. The seed of greatness is already in you. You just got to get in fertile ground and be watered. So I'm a firm believer by saying that you can fall off the wagon. If you get back in the right soil, you can grow again. So I can go on and on and on with that. But no, started out with an idea. The idea was inside of me. And God gave me the vision, and I went out and got committed people, and we're growing this thing. So work that thing is going to be hanging up on your closet racks or in your dresser, or you're going to be wearing it somewhere. And you're going to know, work that thing. Whatever your thing is, you got to work that thing. So established 2019. So there we go.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you should hire him for your motivational speaker, because as you can see, it's just in him. That's just Tyrone. He's just naturally going to motivate you, tell you how great and awesome you are, and push you to be the best that you can be. And I just love that about you, Tyrone, because it's just who you are. You're just a natural. And that is beautiful and phenomenal, and I believe in you and your vision and God's vision and the great work that you're doing. And I'm definitely going to buy and support. So can't wait to wear my work that thing.
I heard you singing this when it's cold outside. It's the perfect time to sweat toss when it's cold outside.
Boy, I needed that. I needed that. Sully just says, Tyrone.
That's our guy, man. We got to go visit Sully, man.
We do.
Well, yeah, and he's moved now, but he's got the address right here. He's now actually in Johns Creek, which is, I think, close to everybody. There he is right there. Yep,
Oh, it is one of Old Alabama Road. Okay.
Yep. He's right
You know,
there. Right there.
we need to go do a game from his place, man. You need to just dedicate about a good hour and a half, man, and just, it's going to give him pub, but also, talk about the game live, what's going on, having fun. People going to be coming into the restaurant, hey, interviewing them. What's your, man, it'll be fun, man. It'll be fun.
Well, I am game for it. And he said he changed. It's actually, it's not 30,005. It's 3005 Old Alabama
We got
Road.
you, Sully.
So I said, let's go.
Sullivan.
Well, I'd anticipated we're trying to do a new segment called Falcons Flashback. And so I'd invited a former Falcon this week to join us only because of the Falcons, the way they ran the ball. So I invited Falcons Ring of Honor and four-time Pro Bowler William Andrews to join us. So I just texted him and said, bro, we're waiting on you. Because if anybody knows about how to run that ball and playing in the backfield that, had 2 or 3 guys that could run, William Andrews certainly knows about that because everybody remembers, well, you may or may not, but back in the day, he and Lynn Kane provided that thunder and lightning backfield that got the Falcons to 2 playoff appearances and narrowly missing out on a possibility to get to the NFC Championship in 1980 when they had probably one of their best seasons by a Falcons team, 12-4, and had the #1 overall seed for the playoffs that year. But
you tell William Andrews, you text him right now, tell him Tyrone Poole is sitting here waiting, and tell him if he don't show up next time we have our NFLPA meeting, I'm calling him out. So
call him out. I'm gonna go ahead and text him right now, Tyrone. Say, hey, Tyrone Poole says, come on.
And tell him if he don't show up if he don't show up tonight at the next NFLPA meeting, I'm calling him out.
Put it in right now. Tyrone Poole says, come on. Or get called
out.
You
a pro athlete. See, you gotta put a little fire up on him sometimes, So I don't know, William, he could be busy. He does have a little business that he does and everything like that. So hopefully he'll jump on. But good dude. Number 31.
Yes, sir. Number 31 really had not been for a severe knee injury that basically stopped his career. He was on track to really possibly have an NFL Hall of Fame career in 5 years, 4 Pro Bowls. As a matter of fact, 1 year led the entire league in yards for scrimmage and twice had over 2,000 yards from scrimmage. So yeah, put up some big numbers. When he did that, there was some studs playing. That was when Walter Payton was in his prime. There was some great backs. So William definitely, held his own doing his thing. Let's go back to social media.
Well, William's a great guy. I've been knowing William for years.
You got another Jonathan.
Yeah. Good tree. He's a good dude. And, back in the day, Jonathan was saying how back in the day, we all know in the 80s and everything like that, it was all about the running game. That's why everybody always drafted first. If they had the first overall pick, it's either going to be a quarterback or they're going to draft that top running back. Unlike today, running backs come a dime a dozen almost. So you can get them in the late rounds. But William Andrews, his best season, 1983, and he ran the ball like 331 times, man. That is a lot of carries. That's a lot of carries. Back then, when they could almost take you down any kind of way they could, he ran that ball 331 times, man. I think he finished up with like 1,567 yards, 1,567 yards, averaging 4.7 yards a carry, man. That's pretty doggone phenomenal. You get a ball to William Andrews 3 times, you got yourself a first down. That's some good stats, man. Good stats.
That's excellent.
Yeah, I think he had his best touchdown season, Tree. 1981. That's when they in 1981 is when the Falcons I remember it so well, man. I got to tell the story. I grew up a Falcons fan, right? And but you only had the Falcons didn't come on television as much because back then you either watched the Dallas Cowboys, they were always going to be on television,
Yeah.
or the Pittsburgh Steelers, So the Falcons, they really wouldn't play. But I remember all that red helmet, red jersey, the gray pants and all that stuff, Steve Barkowski and man, Wallace Francis and all them dudes, man. Jeff Van Note, man, I'm telling you, I know the Falcons. And when they played the Dallas Cowboys, the Cowboys came here to Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, man. And they beat them. Danny White threw the ball to Drew Pearson at the last minute. And that really, 1981, all the Falcons fans, listen up. 1981 should have been the Falcons' Super Bowl year. You go back and ask him, if William Andrews come on this, I hope he comes on. You ask him about the 1981 team. Yes, they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. But if you ask William Andrews, in that season in 1981, they beat the brakes off of the Eagles. So if they had gotten past the Cowboys, yeah, the Eagles would have had to come here to Atlanta. And the Falcons were hot. Yeah, Jerry Granville was the defensive coordinator. So go back and watch it, people. Tell you, I know my story, man. I know my history. Just like Tree know about them Detroit Lions.
A lot of people don't realize that Falcons team really, was really probably the greatest Falcon team of all time. You just mentioned Tyrone, balanced offensively, had a great defense. They still had the remnants of that dominant defense from 77 and 78. They ran that blitz. And you talk to a lot of guys that played on that team, like Dewey McClain, who's actually one of our state representatives now. He said, hey, man, he said they went to that prevent too early. And he said, he said it was too early. He said, what got us there and got us to that lead, because a lot of people don't even realize, everybody talks about 28-3 over the Patriots. In that game against Dallas, in the third quarter, the Falcons were up 24-6, crushing the Dallas Cowboys. They're beating the brakes off them. And they let up off on the gas and allowed them to come back. And then the dagger was the Falcons actually had a chance to close the game out. And they gave William the ball. And right before they gave him the ball, Ed Too Tall Jones jumped, but got back. And it threw the whole blocking scheme off. He actually ended up being in, he moved from his normal position where they had him set the block, moved over one guy. William got stopped. Falcons had the punt. Dallas got the ball back and ball game. Yeah, that was a heartbreaker.
Like you said, play Too Tall Jones. He actually, just like any defensive lineman, you try to anticipate the snap count, and he jumped early, so his balance, to try to keep his balance and keep from jumping outside, he went to the right and actually fell into the hole where trying to run the ball. Yeah, so that was crazy, man.
Only the Falcons. All right, let's go back to social media here. We mentioned that Sully says he knows ex-Malcolm player Mike Ken, great lineman during that time period. Yep.
Yeah.
He said the late Tom Jackson still chasing Bill. Yeah, because William had a big run on Monday night, blew by Tom Jackson. Of course, another thing you can see him doing something hardly no one did during this era. There's a famous YouTube clip of them playing the 49ers. And he turned the corner, met Ronnie Lott head on, and Ronnie Lott took all that smoke and found himself on his behind. And William ran him over. Let's go here. Can you read this, Tree? H.C. Hardy?
Another Thomasville product. Definitely have to ask him how he ended up in Auburn and not Georgia.
It's like all athletes now. All athletes, the same thing is happening now. I don't know. Georgia just don't. I don't know. I guess they just feel like, I don't know. They get outbidded by other schools in other states. When you would think these kids would want to go to Georgia. I'm pretty sure in Michigan, you have no problem, Tree. I'm like, kids, I'm going to Michigan. I'm going to Michigan before I go anywhere. I'm like, I don't know. It's like Georgia. I don't know what they do here, man. I don't know.
Well, I will say, since Kirby's been at Georgia, their recruiting has been a whole lot better. Let's go social media. And we always know that Todd has got something in his sleeve that's funny. Tree, please read this.
Todd said Matt Ryan was 3, was at that Dallas heartbreaking game in 1980, rumored. He told his daddy, just wait, daddy.
Only Todd. Holy Todd. I think we got H.C. Hardy. What's he saying there?
He said, let's not forget, before there was a Deion Sanders, Bobby Butler had one side locked down to another Florida State product.
Yeah, they had some
Bobby Butler's bad. Go ahead, Tyrone.
they had some good guys, man. They had some good guys. I just want to say this real quick about William Andrews. You know, he came in again 1,000 yards back in the 80s. That was the mark. That was the standard. You get 1,000. And William came in his rookie year, got 1,023, and he would have gotten, I think, his fourth year, he actually came up 500 yards short. He ended that season with 573 yards, but he only played in 9 games, right?
Wasn't that a strike year?
Games, yeah.
That was a strike year when they had a shortened season that year. That the year?
Yep, 82.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So he would have been rushing for 5,000 yards all of his years in NFL. Like you said, he had that knee injury in 84, and then, basically he didn't start no games in 84. But he was dressed, but he didn't start.
Yeah, he was when he was in his heyday. Those 4 years, he was just dominant. I mean, he could do it all because what a lot of people didn't realize. I didn't realize once I looked at the stats that you're talking about twice getting 2,000 yards from scrimmage. Well, that means you got to be a good receiver. You rushing for 1,300, 1,400 yards and picking up another 500, 600 yards in receiving yards. Yeah, he was that dude. Yeah, no question about it. Let's go back to social media here again. Another Jonathan.
Jonathan Friedman said, 80s Falcons team is still the best of all time. Okay.
Yeah, well balanced, no doubt.
Sullivan
said, what about Jamal Anderson?
Man, Jamal ain't got nothing on. I'm pretty sure Jamal would say the same thing. He got nothing on William Andrews, man. I'm like, this dude, again, 81. Again, we all know that. And I'll say this, I'll say it too. I'll go on record as saying it. That was the Falcons' opportunity to win the Super Bowl in 81. They would have probably demolished the Raiders, man. But you got William Andrews, again, we didn't talk about this. But not only did he, in that 81 season, he has like 289 carries for 1,301 yards, but the dude had 81 receptions, man. How you get a doggone running back 81 reception? I'm looking 81 reception for 735 yards receiving. And that year he had 2,036 yards total.
Yeah, that team was he was a one-man wrecking. No, I shouldn't say that. I mean, like I said, Lynn King was on that team as well, but I mean, those numbers are just staggering. Like you said, 1,300 yards on the ground. He had 10 touchdowns. He averaged 4.5 yards a carry. Yep. And on top of that, 81 receptions for 735 yards, including a 70-yard touchdown reception. And as I mentioned earlier, led the entire NFL in yards from scrimmage, 2,036 yards from scrimmage. And he actually, go ahead.
He should have been MVP in 81.
Yeah, I think he was in. AP? He ranked 8th overall in the AP Offensive Player of the Year. Yeah, he came in 8th, and he was on the Pro Bowl, and he also was on the All-Pro team as well. Yeah, so he was bad man. But you know what's crazy, Tyrone? He actually had more yards in 83. Yeah. From scrimmage, 2,100 yards from scrimmage in 1983, and unbelievably averaged 10 yards of reception as a back coming out of the backfield after rushing for 1,500 yards on 330 carries. And that's when they punish you.
59 yards receiving. I'm still trying to get over my mind of 59 yards, 81 receptions. So to speak, for a back, man. And then he carried the ball too, man. Pay that dude. Can you say pay him? Pay him.
What we got there, Tree? What's Mr. Hardy saying to us now?
H.C. Hardy said 2 notable players out of Thomasville as well: Georgia Tech QB Sean Jones and Florida State Knicks guard Charlie Ward.
Yep, all bad guys. I want to give a big shout out. She's probably not listening, but Elaine Armster grew up there, and actually her dad was a legendary coach at Thomasville High School. And I remember first met her, I said, I'm just going to call you the coach's daughter because she is a football aficionado. Matter of fact, went to the Heisman Trophy event, and Charlie Ward was there, obviously being a hometown guy. And somewhere in my belongings, she actually gave me a copy of the Heisman Trophy program. So yeah, big shout out to the folks from down at Thomasville, Georgia, down south there. Let's go back to social media.
Sullivan Sutherland said, I just want to have that ring in the A-Town.
I think we all do, sir. H.C. Hardy.
H.C. Hardy. He said, my uncle was a photographer for the Atlanta Voice. How cool. As a kid, I would be at some of the games. That's super cool.
That is cool.
Todd said Mr. Riggs was best Falcons running back in his opinion.
Now, Gerald Riggs, he was like, to me, when I use the word knockoff, that I'm saying it in a great way. But he was after William Andrews, and they all go and find a pattern of the previous pattern that worked. So William Andrews always gonna set the standard. Always gonna set the standard. If I had to compare William Andrews to somebody during his time, it would be Earl Campbell. He and Earl Campbell, I would say, had the same type of running tactics. Now, William might have been better at catching the ball than Earl.
No doubt.
Yeah. But they had the same kind of running style. Boy, they run over you.
They did not. None of those guys took any back step from anybody. Matter of fact, the last time that William was on there, that was a couple of years ago, he said, like Earl, they relish contact. They were looking to lay the wood to you as much as you were looking to lay the wood to them. And what's saying here says, what's Hardy saying about the best game he saw?
So the best I saw, Andrews, Eric Dickerson, and Billy Sims. White Lions.
Billy Sims.
Yep, out of Oklahoma, a Sooner.
Yeah.
Yep, great running back. Really kind of, obviously you can't really compare anybody to Barry Sanders, but there's no doubt, man, Billy Sims, he had it all. Could run, breakaway runner, powerful guy, strong, explosive, hit the ball very quickly. Yeah, all those three guys are great. And the fact that William was so dominant in an era with those type of running backs still playing just gives you an idea just how good he was. So sorry he could not join us today. I didn't text him and I left him a voicemail saying you're going to get him at the NFLPA meeting. So like you said, hopefully he'll be able to join us on the next time. Go out. And for those of you Falcons fans, I know you guys, I mentioned it. I'm sorry. Hopefully and prayerfully he'll be with us next time. But again, we still want to give him a big shout out. Falcons Ring of Honor. One of the best Falcons of all time, and really had not been for a knee injury, probably would have ended up in Canton, because he was on that trajectory, 5 years, 1,000 yards, and like Tyrone said, probably should have been MVP in that year, 1981, no doubt. No doubt.
And Billy Sims, like I said this about Billy Sims, Detroit, but he was just like Barry Sanders, man. Billy Sims was the Detroit Lions. I'm like, that's probably the only name you knew on the Detroit Lions at the time, Billy Sims. He probably, before the game, get his curl activator. He had the hair right now. Billy Sims had the hair right now.
It's no doubt.
Before Barry Sanders was number 20.
Yeah, he's a bad man. I mean, and what you call that then? How did Dion mention it? It said it looked wet even when it was dry. Yes,
it looked wet, but it was dry.
Well, it's dry, baby. That's how it worked. Yep, that Jerry curl, when you worked it right, it was right. Let's go back here to Todd saying here. What's he saying? Todd saying he says, Sully, I'm afraid. What's that saying, Tree?
Todd says, Sullivan, I'm afraid you better change. You have a better chance to sell more hamburgers than McDonald's than Falcons to win a Super Bowl under this owner. Todd is funny.
See, here's the thing that's crazy. Everybody now is sour on Mr. Blank, but this is a guy that brought, when the Smiths, they had that stretch where they really weren't doing anything after the Super Bowl. They had 2 bad years in a row after Jamal Anderson got hurt. And he brought, to Mr. Blank's credit, he brought that energy to the Dome, because him taking that risk to bring Michael Vick here, and I know how things kind of went to the left a few years later, but it was must-see TV here. The energy around Atlanta when they had Michael Vick was incredible. Let's go to social media one more time before we take the break.
HC Hardy said, need to do a poll. Best curl in the NFL in the 80s. I have to go with Randall Cunningham, the Eagles.
Randall was nice. His was nice too. That's right. You're right. You are right. His was. I was watching a clip of It's a Football Life not too long ago. Yeah, his curl was nice too. Well, look, guys, speaking about being nice, you need to be nice and keep it locked right here in the Real Talk Sports Show. We'll be back as we bring in you know who to talk about you know what. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go nowhere.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
This is your time to get what you want. Go work that thing with Work That Thing supplements.
We're back there, and we are with the Queen and the Hall of Famer. And next, we have the gentleman who's the embedded beat writer for AJC Sports for our Atlanta Falcons. He is an award-winning sports writer, and he is Esquire par excellence. The one and only D. Orlando Ledbetter is back in the building. D-Led, welcome back, sir.
Hey, Reverend, thanks for having me back on the show. And it's always a pleasure. Great to see Miss Tree and Tyrone.
Hey, D-Led, I like the hat.
Oh,
he got the hat. Let's get a close-up right here. Ooh, that looks factory fresh, baby. Yes, sir.
Factory fresh.
Well, D-Led, finally we have a happy week. Oh, what was your take on the Falcons? I heard a little bit of you talking to the coach in the press conference, but what were your thoughts after the game? Now you've been having a couple of days to ruminate over this Falcons really critical victory against New Orleans.
Yeah, good win by the team. They really had to just, establish what their identity is going to be and try to stay within that. They were able to bend but not break, gave up a whole lot of yards, but was able to get a couple touchdown drives there together. And thank God for them. I'm sure they're thanking him for Jesse Bates, the 92-yard interception return, and then him punching the ball out when the Saints appear to be going in for the score. Without those two plays, the victory would not have been possible.
No doubt. Tree, what you got for D-Led?
Well, with this win over the Saints, what are you thinking are the chances with the remaining schedule that the Falcons have coming up and what we've seen from them so far?
Yeah, well, from what we've seen thus far, nothing's a given. Not even this game against the Jets right here. Maybe the Carolina game, and that's about it. So that gets you to 6-6. So then you got 5 more games where you're going to have to, play some football and, try not to turn it over against the Jets, Tampa Bay, the Saints, the Colts, and the Bears. You saw the Bears win one last night. So they're going to be it's going to go down to the wire, perhaps. I mean, if this team is, can play mistake-free, no turnover football, they're going to have a shot. But they haven't been able to do that. They still had the turnovers against the Saints And like I said, they needed the 2 super duper plays by Bates to pull out that game.
So what's your take on Ritter? I know that with a lot of the turnovers and different things that have been happening, I've never been a quarterback, but I just hear sometimes they start playing conservatively, which is not really the best because you need to be aggressive and go for it. But what's your take on his play and him getting back the position, and how do you think he's doing with that?
Well, he certainly gives them the best chance to win. The turnovers have to go. You can't, we saw Jameis in Tampa where, he just kept throwing interceptions, and he was their number 1 overall pick. They stuck with him for 5 years. They're not going to stick with him for 5 years. If this keeps up, this might be it, the last 5 games here. But yeah, you can't turn the ball over. The 2 picks, Bijan should have broke that one in a little harder. That was not Ritter's fault. And the throw out to Van Jefferson, that's got to be a little bit better throw to his back shoulder. So Matthews Tyron couldn't undercut it. So, but I mean, you've seen those mistakes all throughout the season. Can't turn the ball over on the 10-yard line. So, if the guy is going to have some turnovers down there, you got to help him out and pound that thing in on the ground. And that's what the coach did in the 4th quarter. And now when he gets down the red zone, that's what he's got to do. He's got them running backs. Go on and send Cordarrelle at him 4 times in a row. Tyler Algier, who breaks tackles. Go ahead and power it up and go after some people. Since your quarterback has problems reading and seeing stuff in the smaller windows down there.
I think we got a question on social media from Todd, our man Todd. What you got, Tree? Can you read that for us?
Sure. Todd said, D-Led, the top Falcons insider. You can tell us long-suffering Falcon fans who will be our QB in the future, who they liking in the draft. Really, Todd?
Todd ready to move on already.
Yeah, right. I'm like, the season isn't even over. He's already talking about the draft.
Yeah, well, I got to answer. Drake May. Start looking at the North Carolina quarterback. You might have to trade up to get him, but Drake May is one. Caleb Williams is thought to be the best quarterback in the draft, but I don't know. I don't know. The crying to his mom thing got me. I didn't like that, and I'm just an old dude, I guess. I don't understand the kids painting their fingernails. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna probably get killed. I got drugged on Twitter for that, but I'm like, don't trust a kid who paints his fingernails. Even though he did have FU on him when they played Utah, but so he's a little too weird for me. But but Drake May is one. I don't know if Shedeur comes out. I know he's got a back injury. He's a good one. There's Bo Nix has done good out at Oregon. They're going to scout the quarterbacks, no doubt. But this is a group that has tried to do the quarterback thing on the low everywhere they've been. The New Orleans people in the front office, they got lucky with Drew Brees. The Tennessee people in the room, they saved Ryan Tannehill for a few years, but Derrick Henry had a lot to do with that. This is also the crew who drafted Mitchell Trubisky in Chicago over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. So that quarterback thing's a whole crapshoot. So I guess you just keep doing it till you get it right, and that's what the Falcons appear to be doing.
We got H.C. Hardy on social media.
H.C. Hardy said, Falcons need to thank former Falcon Ricardo Allen. He mentored him in Cincinnati, and it definitely shows. They need to try to pull him from Miami.
No, that's just not Allen. True. Yeah, Bates was there. Ricardo was there for a year. But Bates was already on his way before Ricardo got there. So, but I'm not giving Ricardo that much credit for Jesse Bates. Sorry.
Tyrone, what you got for D-Led, sir?
How you doing, D-Led? Hope all is well with you.
Doing great, Tyrone. All is good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My question, I just got one question. You know, you being a beat writer for the Falcons, you've seen the Falcons during their good times, you've seen them during their bad times. All right, I'm gonna put you in position. All right, you just bought the team. You just bought the team, right? You bought it from Arthur Blank. How are you changing the Falcons?
Well, I'm gonna go hire Reggie McKenzie, and I'm gonna make him in charge of all the football operations. Then I'm gonna have him. Then I'm gonna go sit down and get in my yacht and go to the beach. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let my football people do it. I'm gonna get the best out there. He's one of the he learned under Ryan Wolf, and I'm gonna let him do what he needs to do to get the franchise together. I'm not meeting with him on Mondays. I'm showing up on Sundays. I'm not gonna be on the sidelines. I'm gonna be on my yacht, and then on Sundays I'm gonna be in my booth, and then I'm gonna go back to my yacht. I'm gonna let my football people run the football operations, and just let me know when the Super Bowl party starts, and I'm gonna be there for that.
See, right there, I agree 100% with D-Led. All of the teams that I've been a part of where we have won, they don't have a whole lot of people making decisions in their front office. The teams that I played on that we've won, I didn't see the owner, kind of like Puffy Combs. Yeah, I love, all shouts out to Arthur Blank. Thank you for everything that you do. But man, sometimes you can't be like Puffy Combs. Can't be all up in the video. You just gotta let your body do what it do, man.
Puffy was in every video.
And y'all know Puffy be all up in the video, man. He be doing his thing. But seriously, what D-Led said, man, I'm like, that's how you win championships. You go look at all the great organizations, and people say, what's wrong with the Falcons? I just think sometimes you have too many people who are trying to get into the owner's ear, and then you are trying to do other things. And you got a GM, and then you got Rich McKay, he has a position, and unless everybody is operating together where there's chemistry, it's always going to be, who decision are we going to go out and we're going to run with it. You look at back in the day with the Packers, the Steelers, that's why I think the Steelers, they have such a great organization for a long run. They have a knit pickings of people that help run that organization, man. My times at the Patriots, I can count on one hand, probably 3 fingers, the number of time I saw Robert Kraft on the sideline. He let Bill Belichick coach. That's what he hired him for. Like you said, D-Led, let me know when I got to come in on that first day of training camp. Let me speak to the guys, tell them what my expectations are, and I see y'all later. So that's it. So I like that, D-Led. I think, D-Led, you need to be an owner, man. I think you win right now.
Yeah, maybe I got to hit that lotto, though, Tyrone. It gets over $1 billion again. I got to get on it.
And D-Led, I didn't know you about that life, sir. I mean, you about that yacht life, because you mentioned that yacht about 4 or 5 times. Y'all got to do that and go back to the yacht. I do that and go to the yacht. I do that and go to the yacht. And when I finish, I go, you find me on the yacht.
That's where I'm going to be, on the yacht. I'm going to be an Uncle Luke video on the yacht.
Not an Uncle Luke video.
Versace shirt, everything.
Oh yeah, we'll do all of that.
All right, then we got another question from social media here. Tree, what we got?
HC Hardy said, Eagles question: if a head coach is fired, can he get hired by another team the same year as an assistant? Because I feel Frank Reich needs to be back with the Eagles in some capacity to help with the offense. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Frank Reich.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah, I will mess up a name.
Good friend of the program. He was at Maryland when I was in school up there, and my cousin played with them up him and Boomer up at Maryland. So, but no, I think he's under contract. Just because he's fired, I think there'll be some competitive issues with him going to the Eagles. They would because his contract I think is for 4 years now, and I don't know the offset language and so forth, but I would think that there would be kind of a non-compete clause for him to go to another team while he's still under contract to one team.
I got one more question for D-Led. D-Led, this right here is an all football question. In the state of where the football season is now, and I always say around this time of the year is when you start to see the contenders rise, the cream rise to the top, and those pretenders, you start to say that team not going to make it this year. So out of the NFC, who do you see is the strength? This is the team that you would say represent the NFC in the Super Bowl and in the AFC. How do you see the number one team that this is the team that I believe can make it and represent the AFC?
Yeah, NFC is Eagles, and they'll play the 49ers this week. That's the second team. Dallas is playing some great football, but I want to see them do it against a good team. But those would be the three right now in the NFC that will contend for the NFC Championship. In the AFC, we're starting to see a little separation over there. Buffalo's no longer elite at 6-6. The Bengals are not with Joe Burrow being hurt, so that's kind of opening up over there. Is Miami legit? Kansas City is, and Andy Reid's gonna find. I would have thought he'd have found somebody to catch the ball by now, but he hasn't. So that's their big issue. But yeah, Kansas City over there, and some of the other teams that are pretenders or now, or Buffalo and Cincinnati. So it looks like a clear Chiefs path over there to me, unless I'm missing somebody here. Let's just look at it real quick.
Trevor Lawrence and Jacksonville Jaguars. You think?
Yeah, Jacksonville's solid. They've been in the playoffs. They went last year. They got a taste of it. The real Josh Allen is what we're calling the defensive end down there. Him and Trayvon Walker are doing a great job outside, and then the tackles are doing great. And my nephew's in that. My little cousin Jeremiah is in that tackle rotation for Jacksonville too. So he's doing his thing. Played at Arkansas. Was drafted by the Lions, and so he got a ring with Tampa Bay. So he's in that mix. But I want to see them click a little bit more on offense. So Ridley looked like he had a dip and is coming back. Kirk is doing pretty good, So Jacksonville and that defensive front could certainly be a team that could elevate and maybe give the Chiefs all they want in the AFC.
You really think that the Cowboys are going to go further than the Lions?
Yeah, because I'm starting to get a little bad vibe on the Lions, and you know what I'm talking about. Because Wayne Fonts went 8-0 every year. And then they end up 8-8. So them losing to Green Bay signals to me that, hey, there might be some backsliding in the D. But we'll find out because they play the Saints on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And if they handle the Saints, then I'll be back on the bandwagon for the Lions. But yeah, there's too much history to ignore that you see these teams come jetting out to 8-3. And then, all of a sudden they're 8-5, 8-7, 8-6. I need to see the Lions put some more stuff together there. You can't be losing to Green Bay. That wasn't a good Green Bay team. I don't care. Thanksgiving, usually the Lions come out and handle. They usually come out on Thanksgiving and put on a show. And we didn't see that this year. So that's got me a little bit concerned.
Yeah, no good reason. We definitely started super flat that game and just couldn't recover.
Now people were telling me that, Garrett, Goff has got them as far as they can go, and that's what they're seeing now. And that Hendon Hooker is going to be the quarterback of the future, even though he's out getting his taking care of his knee and everything. But that's the buzz I'm getting out of the D right now.
Interesting. Well, I'm still keeping with we going to the Super Bowl, so we'll see.
All right.
And Jonathan, I ask one more question real quick. D-Led, talk about the Ravens. The Ravens, their defense is number 2 I noticed you didn't, mention them. Their defense is number 2 in scoring, and I'm a firm believer that if you want to reach that championship, you got to hold teams to field goals. You can't let them get touchdowns, and that's how you get to the Super Bowl, which the Chiefs have the number 1 scoring defense. But then you look at the Ravens' offense. They put up a lot of points, 324 points so far, which I think that the Dolphins have the most with 339. So, what's your take on the Ravens?
Yeah, that was an oversight. The Ravens, I know my buddy Jared Bell from USA Today, we were checking out that game Sunday, the first half together, and that's his Super Bowl team. So he's saying, the Ravens are legit. We got little Mitchell up there doing work. We had his mom on the show, remember, Reverend?
That's right.
Yeah, and so he's Mitchell's getting most of the carries. Zay Flowers is adding some things. I just need Lamar to be a little bit steadier for me. But we gotta give a shout out to our guy, Big Chuck Smith, who's got them leading the league in sacks. So he's the pass rush coach up there. His first year on the job, and he's leading the league in sacks. And at some point, I got to do a story on that because he was training all these kids for the last 6-7 years here in Atlanta. And, he was just dying for Dan Quinn to put him on the staff. And while, Baltimore hired him, they're number 1 in sacks, and the Falcons are still last, near the bottom in sacks. So at some point, we got to point that out, that they had a chance to hire him, didn't do it. And, especially if the Ravens get into the playoffs, that'll be an easy to the Super Bowl. That'll be an easy Super Bowl story for us.
Todd said, D-Land, why can't we get a pass rush still?
Yeah, that's why they tried to get Montez Sweat. Chuck's got them doing a combination of moves. I mean, you even seen stuff from Clowney that he hadn't displayed earlier in his career. You can't just speed rush all the time. Vic Beasley was a speed rusher. They caught up to his speed. He didn't add any moves. So, Chuck is, just in conversations talking to Chuck, I got better about pass rushing. Speed to power, bull rush, chops. You got to mix it up. You gotta have change up. Got to think you're going speed and come underneath. So he's got pass rush plans, from his days. And, he was right up there with Reggie White, was one of the best pass rushers in the league during his time. And now he's able to teach that and be respectful to, the different type of students and kids that they have now. And his future is nothing but bright in the NFL and teaching pass rush. Ryan Nelson's supposed to be another great pass rush coach, and we just haven't seen the production. So it's the pass rush coach plus talent get you to the quarterback.
And let me say this, you talk about these great players, Chuck Smith and all these guys. This is what I got to tell these young fellas, right? And anybody, coaches. A lot of people think buying knowledge is what does it. I've learned it like this. You can buy knowledge, right? A lot of people go buy books, go pay for all these whatever camps to go to. You can buy knowledge, right? But you can't buy revelation. And revelation comes from experience on the field. So these coaches, they better start getting these guys who spent time on the field, man, because that's where you learn little tricks of the trade. Something that didn't work, you had to come with another way to find out how to make it work. And that's how you get revelation, man.
Mm-hmm. And John Abraham said it just like that, Tyrone. He said some of these guys want to be out there for provisions. They want to get some provisions, and, that's cool. You get out there and you make some money and you got some provisions for life. But he's like, I played because I wanted to play football. And it was in his heart to go get the quarterback. And so if you got it in your heart to go get the quarterback, you're going to go get the quarterback.
That's why they called him the Predator. He was a bad man. What's it saying there on social media? I think we got Todd asking a question. Oh, no, I guess he's making a statement.
The Falcons brass hate Chuck Smith.
Well, they had an opportunity to hire him and they didn't do it. So we were not going to disagree with Todd.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I don't. I'm not. I'm just not quite sure what goes on here in Atlanta. What the thinking is. I'm totally baffled. I see it with the Falcons. I see it with Georgia Tech. Um, this idea that you want to bring guys back. I don't know whether you think they're going to take shine off the coach that you have or go against your
That's it.
system.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't get it. It
You
just
just
it
said
makes no
it,
sense
John.
because, huh?
You just said it. You just said it. Take shine.
It's,
Take shine, man.
Yeah, and see, John Harbaugh is a stable coach who's, all he's trying to do is win Super Bowls up there in
right.
Baltimore. So he'll get a Todd Monken to come up there and leave a two-time national championship program. He'll get Chuck Smith to help with a pass rush. He's worried about being the best, and he's in the AFC with some superpowers. He gotta, catch up to the Kansas City at the time he's thinking Buffalo and the Bengals. So. Baltimore is definitely on a collision course with the Chiefs, I believe, Tyrone.
I think got AC Hardy got something for us there. I don't know.
AC
Maybe
Hardy
that's a question to
said,
everybody.
Yes.
Go ahead, Tree. Read it
Yes,
again.
it is. Yeah,
AC Hardy said, do you feel that it is more challenging for coaches dealing with the millennial athlete?
Yeah, because a lot of them have expressed that to me. Raheem Morris, I think, was the first. It's like, hey, you can't just be up in people's face yelling and screaming, like they used to. You got to find a different way to teach. These are different type of kids. And that was one of Chuck's issues, too, because, Chuck was with the Jets for a minute with Rex Ryan and them. And, they were wilding out up there. But Chuck, he took his time back. He got ready. He's worked with the kids, and so Von Miller. They started that pass rush camp out together, and anybody that wanted to rush the passer was trained by Chuck. And I think he knew the second time around when he went up to Baltimore, it's like, hey, I got to do this a little bit differently. So a lot of that's why you see a lot of the coaching staffs are not hiring a lot of the old head coaches. They're bringing in these young guys that are, like Mike McDonald down in Miami that, kind of quirky to us, but, maybe they're cool with somebody painting their fingernails, you know what I mean? But I'm not. so, and then a lot of old coaches are sitting out right now that could really, I know it's a couple old coaches that would have loved to have been on Arthur Smith's staff. And they would have fixed a lot of this stuff right, earlier on, but he didn't. He picked younger guys that kind of got an answer to him type of deal. Whereas the older coaches don't care. They just gonna say, "Hey, we're not doing it that way. We're gonna run the ball on 4th and 1. We're not doing any pistol dive option read whatever that was on 4th and 2." That they tried to run against the Saints.
And I guess my baffling thing about this whole thing with the running is that okay, back in the day, and again, I got some age myself as well, but I looked at some of the dominant teams, 70s, 80s, when they had outstanding linemen, they basically said, "Here's what we're going to do: we're going to run the ball behind those two guys, and you're going to have to try and stop us." Whether you go back and look at the Vikings when they had Ed White and Ron Yeri, when you look at when they had Shell and Upshaw, they said, "Look, man, we don't care who you are. We don't care if you're still Curtin, whatever going on. We are going to run the ball behind those two big studs and take our chances." And right now, as much as the Falcons have had a lot of problems with the offensive line, as far as running is concerned, you might have something there with McGarry and the Pro Bowler from last year. Yeah, you got something there, I think. Because McGarry is, we already know he's a terrible pass blocker, but he's a pretty darn good run blocker. And I'm thinking, you just run behind what you got. And now this other kid they picked up in the draft, one of the again better draft picks, the same thing. He's a great run blocker. Just run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
It's not brain surgery. I mean, just run it.
Yep, and they did it last week against the Saints. Not only late, but go look at that 10-yard touchdown run McGarry and Lindstrom collapsed that whole right side.
Yes,
The center
sir.
comes over and double teams the Lindstrom's guy, and then the kid seals the other side off, and Bijan just walks in from 10 yards out. It was an awesome display of blocking football on that 10-yard touchdown run, which begs the question of why did they throw it the next time from the 10-yard line? I'd have ran that play all day long because that means you're winning up front.
But D-Led, I think I don't know if you asked the question that caused this answer, but once I heard it, I said, here's the problem with this team right here. You or somebody asked him about running the ball, and he made a kind of a snide comment. He said, well, we're not here for 3 yards of cloud of dust or play, what do you call it, military school football. I'm thinking to myself, what do you care? Well, I mean, who cares? I mean, if you can do what they did, and we've seen it, if you can take a 75-yard, 13-play drive and scratch off 6 or 7 minutes off the clock, buddy, I'll take that all day and score a touchdown. I'll take that all day long. Give me the ball 4 times, I kill the clock and score 4 touchdowns. You're going to win a lot of games like that.
Yeah, no doubt. I think I want to throw it a little bit, but this isn't Air Coryell either. You're not dropping. You got no business dropping back 35, 40 times a game with a quarterback who throws interceptions at the rate he's throwing them. So that would not be real smart, and that won't be. You won't be around here long doing that. So yeah, he didn't. That wasn't my question though on the military football, but I did. Ask him about the running attack and the 10-yard play, and why did he stick with the runs? And he said, they had to impose their will at that point, and that's what they did.
No doubt. I think Tyrone, you said it best a couple of weeks ago. Tyrone told me, he said, hey man, listen, you said you went about the quarterbacks. He said, but the realities are the league, the defenses have caught up with the offense, because really, if you think about it, D-Led, you don't have guys slinging 400-yard passing games as much as they used to. Matter of fact, things only happen a couple of times this season.
Well, what it is, too, is the quarterback play is down league-wide. You only have Matthew Stafford's the only 13-year, 12-year veteran quarterback in the league. So it's, a lot of teams are in transition at that position and trying to find their guy. A lot of teams, Tampa Bay with Baker Mayfield, come on. We've seen that. The Saints with Derek Carr. He's been to 4 Pro Bowls, but I don't, he had a losing record in Oakland, but he got another job and got some more money. Kirk Cousins, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, but he's hurt right now. But yeah, just a lot of, the Jets problems, Zach Wilson didn't work out. Trey Lance in Dallas now, they're just drafting the quarterback positions in transition. So scoring and passing yards are down right now. And even the kid who can throw it, Herbert, they're throwing all over the place. They're not winning. So, I mean, so what? Probably don't need to throw it that much if you're still losing. So, as far as a young quarterback, I think Trevor's probably the best in the league right now, the young ones. And, Doug Peterson's got him under control and doing calling plays to help him out.
Let me ask you, D-Led, if you're the Falcons, right, and say if you had an opportunity, just hypothetical, right, Justin Fields, the Bears, they're not probably pleased with him, the fans and all that stuff. So if you had an opportunity to trade for a quarterback that has struggled but has spent time in the NFL, would you do that, or would you just go and start completely over and pull a kid from college?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at all avenues, Tyrone. If I can get the a veteran Justin at my price, and I can get just say Drake May, because that's who I like. Just say if I can get him, I can trade up to 5 and get him. I'll keep Ritter, and then just let him compete. That's the old way. What Ryan Wolf used to do is he used to stack positions. They need a cornerback. Opposite of Leroy Butler and all those guys up there. and Tyrone Williams. So he drafted 3 cornerback. And he's like, hey, figure it out. And Newsom ended up taking the job. So, yeah, I'm going to stack the position. I'm not going to give it to anybody. And, load it up. Malik Willis, Tannehill, everybody sign it up. I'm gonna have 4 quarterbacks in here, and we're going to compete, and the winner's going to get the job.
We're about to wrap it up. We want to get these final comments from social media. Sully said, D-Lab.
Hey, Sully.
And what does that one say, Tree, from H.C. Hardy?
H.C. Hardy said, I just don't see a lot of wrapping up. Like when Tyrone Poole played, it didn't matter what size he tackled you.
I'm telling you. And can I say this? Mm-hmm. This is honest truth. That is true. I tell a story here. We all know. Man, trying to shut my phone off. Kevin Green, the great Kevin Green, God rest his spirit.
Oh yeah, linebacker.
Yep. Hall of Famer.
Yes, Hall of Famer. And we know how Kevin Green played, right? When he was with Carolina, we played together in Carolina. He and Lamar Latham, we had that stellar defense in '96. Well, the Panthers, they always gave us an opportunity to back doing preseason. The past players. So I'm taking pictures with Kevin Green, and you know how he talk, like he wrestling. He's a wrestler too, right? What's up, brother? Brother. That was his word. So this is one thing I want to talk about what H.C. Hardy said. Kevin Green said, "You know what I like best about your game?" He said, "You were not afraid to tackle." He said, "Most corners I played with, they don't want to tackle." So I'm like, I took that as a wow, like he. Kevin Green, man, the dude know how to play ball. So when he said that, it just made me think about that when H.C. Hardy said that. I don't know about hitting like no truck, man. If I'd hit like a truck, hey, a veteran one told me, a veteran said, you can't make money in the training room. You can't make money in the training room. I said, okay. I learned from then you got to pick and choose your licks. So stay on the field, you pick and choose your licks. Sometimes you just got to tie the ankles together, put them together, and then every once in a while you catch him looking back the other way, you try to take him out. And I say running lot. I got to say this story too. Running lot. Eric Davis. I played with Eric Davis in San Francisco, right? Eric Davis said that running lot said that you got to put a woo lick on film every on film every 4 games, right? And what that does, each NFL team, they go back 4 games, right, to prepare for the game that they're about to play. So he said Running Lot told him, Eric Davis, who played with, who was around Running Lot, 49ers, put a woo lick on film every 4 games. So if you don't know what a woo lick is, that woo lick is when you hit somebody so hard and the fans say, woo. So now when your opponents see that, they say, wow, this dude will come up and tackle. So they may test you one time in that game, but if you come up and show you can like force it, you ain't got to worry about the run game no more pretty much for that whole game. So that's how you stay healthy, young fellas.
H.C. Hardy, you get the last comment on social media. Tree, what has he got to say?
Justin plays under O.C. Getsy, who was at Green Bay with LaFleur, who came from Tennessee, and Arthur Smith. I feel that Fields would be able to grasp the Falcons' offense.
D-Lay, I'll let you get a final comment on that. What do you think? Justin Fields will be a good fit in this offense?
Mute D-Lay.
Hold on a second. I got to unmute him. I think I hit the mute by accident. Hold on a second.
Coughing, I had to mute.
There we go.
Yeah, no, they would have drafted him. They had the 4th overall pick, and they didn't draft him. They didn't like his processing ability. You see Hoser still kind of holds it too long. But he could run and everything. They would have drafted him if they wanted him. So I don't see where they're gonna change their thought processes and say, oh yeah, we need Justin Fields now. They didn't like him. They didn't like him and Mac Jones, so they didn't draft him. They didn't like Trey. They messed up that, it was looking like they messed up that draft, taking Kyle Pitts ahead of Penei Sewell, Michael Parsons, and Jamar Chase. But we got 3 years to look at it. But yeah, they would have drafted. I don't know. the field. They would have drafted Fields if they liked him. They didn't like him then. I don't know what he's done that would make them think they really got to have him now. So
yeah, it's strange because you look at that. You look at the offense they run. You would think he'd be a good fit. In what they do, trying to run the ball. The idea of him on those RPOs, you really would have to look out for him now. And to Desmond Ritter's credit, he's actually run it pretty good these last couple of weeks. I mean,
they make it overcomplicated though. They they don't just run it. They're changing stuff at the line. He's sending stuff in. They got mixed formations on just about every play. It's a lot. That offense is a lot. So it's a lot for one to manage, and even Matt Ryan will get upset with like, hey, stuff's coming in too late.
Yeah, I think he's smart for his own good. Me personally, I just think the guy just doesn't understand, man. He's got a team that if they emphasize what you've always done in football, Tyrone's mentioned it, a bunch of guys in the criminal, you mentioned D-Led, it's real simple. If you block, tackle, and execute, you're going to win a lot of games. And this team has got enough guys. We saw it last week. Hey, man, we're not going to try anything exotic. We're just going to run behind our big boys, and you're going to try to stop us. That's it. And we got 3 running backs to stay fresh so we can hit you with everything. We hit you with the bludgeon, we hit you with the shake and bake, or we can hit you the combo. Your choice. And I'm thinking if you got that, just do that.
Right. It's bread and butter. It's Tyrone. Hey, what do you do? What's your identity? Do that. Don't be throwing a bunch of 9 routes to Van Jefferson. You don't have the passing game timed up. So don't do it. Run the stuff, your bread and butter. Keep butter and eat a lot of bread and win some games.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and be like the Cowboys from the '90s. That's what my philosophy would be. I'm gonna get that big old offensive line, give me a running back, and we're gonna run it and play action you. Once we get them linebackers to start biting up and everything, we're gonna play action you and get it behind you. So run that ball, play action. That's the winning formula to win the Super Bowl.
That's it. All right. We done ran overtime, but we don't care because we had a good time. All right, but you know how we do it, guys. And before we sign off, we always want to let you know how you can find out more about our guests and our co-hosts. So as we always do it, the Orlando Leadboarder, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Reverend. You can find me on Twitter at DOrlandoAJC. Our new podcast, we got my former intern, Emmanuel Morgan from the New York Times coming on tomorrow to help us preview the game against the New York Jets. And you can get that on AJC.com. Thanks for having me, Reverend, Tree, and Tyrone. You all take care and have a great rest of your week.
You too, yeah.
Hey, before I sign out, I got one question. This will take up my time for saying what I got to say. You can pop it up. I don't need to do everybody heard it so many times. But we talk about Billy Sims. This question for you, Jonathan. We talked about Billy Sims and Randall Cunningham and all that. I want to know what kind of hairstyle did you wear back in the day, Jonathan? Did you have what you do,
No,
Jonathan?
sir. I was a bit of a rebellious child. So I had the mega afro. I had the ultimate mushroom. It was like round and out. It was about out this far. When is it? I'm gonna show a picture, bro. When I went to Northeastern, those people said, "Uh-oh, the revolution has begun." Yes, sir. Black turtleneck, white cardigan sweater, black pants, and black 3-inch heel patent leather shoes. That's how I roll. Yes, sir.
We need a picture for next Tuesday. Next Tuesday.
That's how I roll. Yep. Listen, I was even on the Black Student Association at Northeastern University. Yes, sir. Yeah, I was a little bit of a revolutionary back in the day. I'm just saying. All right. The Queen, the floor is yours. Thank you, Tyrone.
Hello, everyone. You can find me on social media at Purple Diva 13, as well as Miss America International 2022.
The Queen has spoken. All right, guys, the revolutionary, well, not so much anymore. I'm still a minister, though, so you guys check me out anywhere on social media. But really, more importantly, check out the show. Follow us at Real Talk Sports and number 7. You can follow me personally at Minister J. Sim. Love to have you do it. Remember, if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, I don't know what you're waiting on. Nobody, Jesus, not your mom, not your babe, not your boo, not your ride and live partner, none of those folks, because none of those people came here, died for your sins, and rose from the dead. And so here's the good news. If you repent of your sins and believe that, two great things happen. Number one, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And number two, you become an adopted child of God, and you now have all the rights therein. You can now go to God like a heavenly parent, asking for anything that you need or desire, and according to his will, he'll give it to you. And when you leave here, you avoid that nasty place called hell. You don't get to go to heaven where it's beautiful. It's the most spectacular place ever built. Every building adorned with jewels. You see all the people of love. You even see God face to face, Jesus Christ face to face. Streets paved with gold is so pure it's translucent. And like I said, you avoid that nasty place called hell. All the things I mentioned in heaven are not in hell. It's dark, it's dreary, bad people everywhere. It's fiery. But most of all, you cut off from God, Jesus Christ, and all the people of love forever and a day. I don't know about you, but like option number one instead of option number two. All right, guys, until the next time when we get back together again, we simply say to you, God bless you and have a great, wonderful day or evening, whichever may apply. So long and see you soon.
Bye.